All right, so we are on 1093 here, which is like the feeder of West Park Tollway. Right here on my right-hand side, we have a couple of fast food restaurants. There's the LA Fitness and the big Walmart that's over here. And then next to Walmart, we have Ross and TJ Maxx and one of the Dollar Tree stores, Five Below, Whataburger, a couple of other restaurants. It's a pretty nice little shopping center. This intersection right here is FM 1463, which has been under a lot of construction in the past few years. And just recently, they were able to build this extension of the tollway to cross over 1463. None of this used to be here, so this has all been within the last year. And now the tollway extends all the way into Fulshear. So we will show that. All right, so we are heading towards Fulshear. Over here on the right-hand side, we have a bank, a new car wash, a Culver's, Custard, and from what I understand, they're going to be building a lot more stuff over here, potentially even a Home Depot from what I've heard. Now we're going to stay on the feeder just so it's a little bit easier to see, but as you can tell, there's still construction going on the toll road area as they're continuing to make this thing go further and further west. So that's been a big project in the area. But I think it's been helping relieve a lot of traffic. Still a lot of construction going on. On the right-hand side here, we have Riverbend Baptist Church. And then on the other side where you can see that large building being constructed, this is the Catholic Church, and they're building a new building for the Catholic Church. It's quite large. So this is St. Faustina Catholic Church. Pretty large community here and growing. And also on the right-hand side, you'll see that they have been putting in more business strip center type businesses. We've got all sorts of stuff from exercise and veterinarians to spas and nails and dentistry. Just lots of different things. And this right here, this is Cross Creek Ranch Boulevard. And Cross Creek is probably the largest neighborhood in all of West Houston. That's at least what it seems like. And it's a huge reason of why Fulshear has been growing to the extent that it has. We'll continue further here. On the right-hand side, you'll still see some more businesses that are popping up. Restaurants, Baskin-Robbins, coffee spots, Mexican cafes. They got Jeremiah's Italian Ice. And you can see that they're building a Shell gas station here, which will help. Before a lot of this stuff started coming in, Fulshear was mostly just these two lane roads going this way and on the other side the other way back. And a lot of the side road entrances were not here, but they have been building them. And so this is one of the bigger ones. This is Texas Heritage Parkway. And if you were to go north on that, you'd go straight into Cross Creek, and it goes pretty much all the way up towards I-10. So up here on the right, some of these strip centers have been here a little bit longer, but you've got some doctor's offices and a couple other little, just like a dental place and jiu-jitsu. There's even a place for autism treatment. And we are coming up on Charger Way, and then this is, I don't know how to say it properly, Boyd the Arc Lane. But here we're kind of getting into the older areas of Fulshear that have been here a while. As you can see here on the left-hand side, it is just construction, expanding that tollway all the way out this direction. And when you get into this other part of Fulshear, which is the original downtown area, I guess you could call it, you'll see that the construction hasn't stopped. It's still continuing all around. They took a building that was somewhat vacated and they put a salt grass here. So if you like steakhouses, there's a salt grass. And we're going to go ahead and take a right here, going straight into Fulshear. This is FM 359. And here, this is kind of the original downtown area. Got some Essence House Cafe, and there's Pier 36 Seafood Restaurant, Oyster Bar, Domino's, Ace Hardware right there on the right-hand side. And there's a very famous place here, Dozier's. It's a barbecue place, but they also do meat processing, and there's a restaurant. So if you like to go hunting and you get some deer, you can take it to them to process. This is the little tiny local post office here on the right-hand side. And that little post office is starting to handle a whole lot. I'm not sure if that post office is going to make it much longer before they're going to have to expand. And that was pretty much the older area of Fulshear. If you go back up this way, this road will just take you pretty much all the way back up to I-10 through a bunch of beautiful farmland, and there's some neighborhoods that are being built out in this direction, but it is still very rural, and I don't expect it to be like this for too long, to be honest with you. At the rate in which Fulshear has been expanding, and from what they say about how it's continuing to be one of the fastest growing cities in the state, I have a feeling that a lot of this land that's for sale right now is going to start being developed out. Over here on the left-hand side was Polo Ranch, and there's some other neighborhoods up here. You can see they've got some different kinds of housing with apartments or townhomes. And then with that growth also comes retail expansion. So they put a CVS pharmacy up here, which hasn't been there very long. And there's some strip centers where you can see there's actually quite a few places that are still for lease, but you've got jiu-jitsu places, Marco's Pizza, you've got another cafe, boba tea place, and then once again more neighborhoods popping up. This is considered to be Cross Creek West area. You can see it right there. That's Cross Creek West. So once again, Cross Creek has been probably the most important thing about the Fulshear growth. The amount of home building and businesses are arriving. It's been pretty phenomenal. Here's Summerview on the left-hand side. And at this point, we're kind of getting out of Fulshear. So we're going to go ahead and make a turnaround here at this Pit Stop Express. Okay, and we are now heading back south, back towards the downtown area that we just passed through. We're going to show close to where they do the farmers market. Here is Del Webb Fulshear on the right hand side. Once again, Polo Ranch on the right hand side. Polo Ranch is actually quite large. It expands much further out. Going out towards Simonton. All right, we are back into town. There's the Fort Bend County Fulshear Annex. And once again, we're at the junction of 1093. On the other side of 1093 is Fullbrook, another pretty large neighborhood and also rapidly growing. All right, we are now turning east onto 1093. There are quite a few businesses and little strip centers off to the right and to the left. But like I said, I think some of those that have been there some time, you're only going to see them expanding, more and more strip centers showing up, more business complexes showing up, possibly even buildings. And yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any slowing down whatsoever. Just ramping up. Over here on the right hand side, this is where they do the Fulshear Farmers Market. The tents are just now starting to pop up. It is a bit early for Saturday morning, but they will be out there soon. So right here at Fulshear Run, which is at the Boyd, the Arc Lane and 1093. They also recently just put this Whataburger here, which I'm sure was a nice addition, even though there is one just literally down the street in front of the Walmart. But hey, more Whataburgers the better around here. Also, to your left, that's where the Fulshear High School is. I didn't pass it, but it's quite large, really nice, and supports lots of students. Little Dollar General in here, donuts, and every time I drive over here, you just see more and more being built on the right hand side. I have no idea what they're building, but it's probably going to be big. That's what it looks like. A couple other little business parks. So if you got like a small business that you need a little front out of, or a shop or something, it's a good place. Got your public storage. We're passing again Texas Heritage Parkway. And you can still see, there's quite a bit of farmland. You'll see cattle out here. You'll see other animals, but lately it's been mostly heavy machinery, and as you can tell, there's more heavy machinery out here just preparing something to come. So with all the growth, you have to have the road expansions, you have to have more businesses. one thing I think is kind of lacking right now, which I would imagine you'll see soon, is some kind of a grocery store in this area. We do have 2 H-E-B grocery stores that are pretty close, but they're not really in Fulshear so much. There's one that's up a little bit further north on 1463. And then there's another one down here, but that's more for Richmond. So I would think that you're going to see like at least another 1 or 2 grocery stores popping up. I don't know which, but considering that we're in Texas this day and age, it's either going to be an H-E-B, a Kroger, or a Walmart. So I would expect to see those soon somewhere. Okay, so we are back here at 1463. I'm going to go ahead and take a left on 1463, meaning heading north. Now, this all used to be just 2 lanes on each side, so 4 lanes in total. And lately, well, I'd say the last 4 years, they've been messing with this road and expanding it. And so what you're seeing right now is actually pretty new. And recently they've opened up most of these lanes, at least up to this point. So this is a nice area. They've got a Starbucks over here on the left-hand side. They have a couple other shopping centers. They've got a Taekwondo place. There's a Popeyes. Another couple of like higher end restaurants, some Cajun cuisine, seafood, and then there's a mix of different Asian cuisine, Thai, Vietnamese, sushi, stuff like that. So it's a pretty heavily congested area in this place, and so this road expansion has been much needed. However, it has been a very long and painful process that most of us that live in this area have had to deal with. And even though they're getting close, it still seems very far away. But the good thing is they've opened up at least this part, which has been a huge help in allowing our traffic to kind of be controlled in this area. So over here on the left, here at the intersection of Fry Road, this is one of the main entrances into Cross Creek Ranch from Katy. There's an Aldi over here on the left, some more fast food restaurants. There's a Black Rock Coffee, an AutoZone, and then right here on the right hand side, this is Second Baptist Church. It's a very large congregation here, very active, and they definitely have a lot of people come in here all throughout the week, but especially Sundays, you will see they'll have to have police officers directing traffic in and out. And so here's the reality of what it's really been like most of the time. You can see that we've been narrowed down to 1 lane, and it's quite challenging to get around here. A lot of businesses for the last few years have been really affected by all of this, and we're hoping that the chaos ends soon, but it hasn't been fun at all. Right here, we're at the intersection of, well, it's Fulshear Bend or Cinco Ranch Boulevard, same road. And this is where the main H-E-B that I was talking about, that supports the Cross Creek community. So this is the H-E-B Cross Creek right here. And obviously, because this is kind of an anchor store, usually H-E-Bs don't go anywhere once they're in their spot. A lot of businesses pop up around, and they have a lot of development in the area, and so that's kind of what you're seeing over here, is that in the last couple years, these strip centers have all popped up, and they're still building and still adding. And so, you know, you'll get restaurants. There's a Verizon cell phone, Five Guys, Cold Stone Creamery, nail salon, and it goes on and on and on. And then you have some other multi-purpose buildings. You have some medical buildings. There's a dermatology center here. Some other oral and implant surgery for dental work. And then here is the high school. So this is not Fulshear High School. This is Jordan. Jordan High School. You can see all the seniors that are getting ready to graduate for this year, 2026. It's pretty neat. They put all their seniors' photos out there on the grass like that, so everyone can see all the kids that are graduating. So yeah, Jordan High School, not the same as Fulshear High School, and you can see this thing is at full capacity, and we're really not even that far from the other Fulshear High School. So now we're kind of getting into Cross Creek. Cross Creek Bend Lane. This is that road right here. And Cross Creek is a really neat community development where there's different portions of Cross Creek that have different kinds of homes. There's even like a retirement community within Cross Creek. So like the homeowners have to be a certain age, and you know there's restrictions on that. But it's purely retirement homes, and they don't allow, you know, a lot of noise or kids and things like that. So it's interesting. And one of the things that's also pretty cool about this is that you'll see everything from like high-end apartment or condos to like duplex, triplex type buildings, from, you know, your mid $200,000 range homes all the way up into $1 million range homes. And it's all kind of mixed in together, but you can kind of tell the sectioning of where everything's at. And it's really nice because it's all built around these ponds, or these man-made ponds and running trails and canals. And there's playgrounds scattered all throughout this community. It's pretty interesting, and I can see why it is such a massive attraction for people to move out to this area, because it's very well done and it's beautiful, and there's lots of stuff to do outdoors. And I think that it's, even though from what I understand they're kind of finishing up on all of the neighborhood developments, that they've basically built out everything they can, there's still a lot of people trying to come here. So if a house pops up for sale in Cross Creek Ranch, there's a good chance it's not going to last too long. All right, I'm going to take a left here on Morgan's Sour Drive. So all up in here on the left-hand side, you'll see running trails or walking trails, whatever you want to do. And they're all kind of centered around nature. Most of them have some kind of a water feature in the middle of them, or something to do outside, like, for instance, frisbee golf or playgrounds or even pools, things like that. So it's pretty neat neighborhood. Okay, I have come back around and I am now on Cross Creek Bend Lane, headed back west direction. And now I'm going to take a right on Llewellyn Way into the Creekside area. So you can see that this is a bit of an older area of the neighborhood. The trees are becoming well established. They're not young saplings or anything like that anymore. So these are some of the older neighborhoods within Cross Creek, but still quite relatively new to the rest of Fulshear. Really nice walking trails over here to the right, which surround kind of like a wetland area. Lots of birds, so if you like to go bird watching, there's definitely lots of birds to come out here and see. I'm going to take a left turn on Llewellyn Oaks Lane. And I'm just doing a very short little circle here. This neighborhood is massive, so I'm only showing just a tiny part of it. But you could drive in Cross Creek for 30-45 minutes and still not get through everything. We've got something going on, lots of traffic. Must be having some kind of an event here, which they are. Yep, there are lots of tents out here. Not positive what this is about, but hey, part of the community, right? So I pulled over and I asked, is part of the Kraken swim team, which is Cross Creek's swim team. So as you can see, which I had no idea, if you're into swimming, this is huge. Their swim team is absolutely massive. And here's Fry Road again. So this is South Fry. We crossed it earlier when I was heading towards the HEB. Now we've come back around and we're once again at Fry heading east. So a couple of little spots over here on the right hand side, restaurants. There's a really nice place called Local Table. You have your CVS, and then on the left of me, that's where the Aldi is. And at this point, you know, if you cross over here, you're getting more into Katy, Cross Creek Ranch, Cinco Ranch, Westheimer Lakes, and yeah, the Katy portion. So you can see that Katy and Fulshear pretty much run into each other at 1463. It's a long road, so there's a lot of Katy/Fulshear exposure. And so a lot of times when people say that they're from this area of Katy, they say Katy Fulshear, which Katy itself is quite large. And so if you don't know all of Katy, I mean, Katy goes quite far east and quite far north from here. So in this region, we kind of say Katy Fulshear. But that'll do it for our road tour of the Katy Fulshear area. And I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.